Welcome to the No Budget Indie Filmcast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films that you might not have heard about elsewhere. Will you agree with our panel, or will our panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out. I am Milo Dennison. With me, as always, is Claire Milan
Hello.
and Carl Halfini.
Hello.
All right, Claire, what's on the agenda this week?
So this week we sat down to watch a short film called Night Session. It's about a burglar who's breaking into a well-appointed New York City apartment at night. He creeps in as stealthily as he can, taking in all the fine possessions of the home, but he's startled when he discovers the homeowner sitting on a sofa in the dark. But the homeowner unexpectedly okay with being robbed. The homeowner's wife is divorcing him and he's losing half of everything anyway. He even helps the burglar rob his own apartment as they chat, and as the two men work together, their conversation turns to a makeshift therapy session, helping the homeowner process the impending divorce. So it's directed by Ballard C. from a script written by David Bizzaro, and it stars Richard Kind, Joe Miles, Christina Lopez, and David Ebert. Yeah, and you might recognize actually Richard Kind. He's a very well-known actor. So you'd recognize his face, the guy behind me here. Yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I suppose it starts off as a two-hander and then two more people come into it. But I think it's very well written, very well acted, and I liked the kind of the premise of it, of a burglar coming into a house, and I suppose you call it subversion, I think you call it. And the burglar, it turns into the guy, the older man playing Richard Kind. He's letting him steal his stuff, and it does turn into a bit of a therapy session, talking about his wife and relationships. And the cops come along, and they have this big therapy session together. Yeah, I thought it was well acted, well filmed. Just a little bit flat. I was kind of expecting a bit of a twist at the end. I know there's a little teeny tiny twist, won't spoil it, but I wanted more of a punch, and it was a little bit flat, and it was over 11 minutes. So I just wish there was more, there was something more to it. It was a bit samey, I thought. But yeah, overall though, I did enjoy it. So what do you think of it?
Yeah, it's funny whenever I see Richard in something because I'm so used to seeing him from like the shows that he's been on, and he always usually plays kind of a doofus. And he does a little bit this time, but not quite to the extreme. It was, I really liked the guy that played the burglar.
Yeah.
He was, there was just something so like personal about him. He's like, yeah, I'm robbing you, but really kind of friendly, nice attitude, and his openness to listening to the story, and just like the way he portrayed that to where you could believe that he'd be a burglar, but also a really nice guy. I
Yeah.
thought it was a really good performance from him for that. You're right. I did expect some kind of a twist at the end, and I don't know if there really was, but to
Yeah.
me that worked
Okay.
because there were these kind of little things that kept showing up, like you already said, he shows up to rob the place, and he's like, "Ah, no, it's fine, take whatever you want." And you're like, "Oh, didn't expect that." And then the cops show up, and you're like, "Okay, the cops are going to take him away," and then they kind of start chatting and stuff because he's such a like they're such friendly characters and everything. So you do get a bit of that, and even at the very end, it was like, yeah, okay, I can buy it, but also it's not a huge kind of thing. It was it was good though, because and I just loved his comment when the police showed up. He's like, "What? You called the police?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. Like,
Yeah.
I did it and stuff." I
Mm.
one thing though is as the burglar's going around the house taking stuff, one, he stays in the whole room the whole time, right? He's not like, "Hey, so if your wife's like, could I go hit her jewelry upstairs or something like that?" And there was a point where he's taking books and he grabs a book of Margaret Thatcher. Like you can see her picture, and I'm like, really? Is he really going to steal a Margaret Thatcher book? But other than that little thing, and I think they just kind of threw that in for a funny factor. But yeah, it was just a really nice little thing. All takes place in one location and just dialogue driven. And yeah, it was a cute film.
Oh yeah, and it's example, I suppose, of an in inverted commas, a no budget film, and how
Mhm.
effective one can be. And I thought they worked so well together. And it is the way they played it. Like the guy who plays the burglar is I think it's Joe Miles, I think his name is. But it's just really just the way they played it, and you can tell it was very well directed as well, because the director would tell him to play it a certain way, and he's
Oh
so
yeah.
nonchalant about it. Yeah.
yeah. Um, well, I have to say, Claire, I was going to make the same point as you. I thought it was a bit flat. Like
Mm,
everything was very slick, very professional, very well done. You know, the whole production. Um, but I just thought it, sometimes we watch a film and it could be 20 minutes and we go, well, that doesn't seem like 20 minutes. I
yeah.
watched this film and after about 6 minutes, it felt like 20 minutes.
Mm,
Um, so it was very, very, very clever. Um, I had a sort of a Woody Allen-esque sort of style about it as well. This idea, as you say, subversion. Didn't know actually that's what it was called. I was trying to think. I was going, is it called, what is it, breaking the third wall or something? Um, but yeah, and it was it was it was entertaining in a way, but
mm,
I was expecting something else. At the end, towards the end, just maybe something to shake it up, a bit of tension or a bit of anger or something else.
mm.
But it just kept going, kept going, kept going, and there was nothing surprising about it in any way. Like it once they broke that sort of that line between him being a burglar and not being a burglar, having the therapy session, it just stayed on that level for the whole of the rest of the film. And yeah, that didn't really fully work for me.
Yeah, it was interesting because you both mentioned how long it felt. And I did the same thing, Call.
Mm.
About halfway through, I'm like, this feels really long. And I looked and it was only halfway through. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, same
Like,
I
here.
know.
Same
Yeah, yeah,
here. Yeah, because I was like, oh my God, there's only like 7 minutes to go. But it did feel
yeah,
very long. And as we watch other films that are long, sometimes they feel very short. So it's quite
Mhm.
interesting. It's just the pacing. It is kind of samey, the pacing. I think that's what makes it
yeah,
long.
Yeah. Well, because it was kind of almost like it was repetitive at a few points with the conversation where he's talking about his wife and you're like, okay, we've already said this. Like we know the
exactly.
relationship and we know this. And you're still and like yeah, and even when people are offering advice, like first the burglar's offering advice and then the cops are offering advice, like, okay, everybody's already said all of this. Like, where's the tension, right? There's no tension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what you need is that tension to build up in order for something to happen. And since it doesn't, they're all just having a nice, relaxing conversation, which is entertaining. But
yeah,
again, it just drags on because you're like, oh, yeah, okay, got it. Got it. Wife's leaving him. All right. Okay. Yeah. He's kind of a pushover husband who can't make up his mind. Okay. Yeah, we got it. You said it. So, yeah.
yeah. And I mean, obviously I recognized your man, Richard Kind. And so, oh, yeah, that guy. And then I went on to his IMDb and I was looking, what was it now? What's the show? There's one show I'm really looking for here now that I specifically remember him for. And I couldn't, no, haven't seen that, haven't seen that, haven't seen that, haven't seen
Yeah, I actually did the same
that.
thing. I did the same thing. I was like, what's the one show he was in that I remember him from? I couldn't place him
No,
like
no.
as in the,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one that I remember him from exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. No.
yeah.
Um, Spin City, he
No.
was on. He was a major character in Spin City. And then there was
Really?
another one with Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt when Helen Hunt became super famous. I can't think of the name of the show. I'll remember at some point, but he
Oh,
was one
I
of their
I
friends in that.
know. I know, I think. It was the Wonder Years. Was he in the Wonder Years?
Jeez, I haven't seen that in so long. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think that's the friend from Wonder Years? No,
No, maybe I'm daydreaming
the
because I was
dad.
actually watching the Wonder Years yesterday. It popped up.
Was he a main character on Wonder Years, or did
Oh,
he
was he
just
the
have like
father?
cameos?
I think he was the
No, he
father.
wasn't. Definitely couldn't wasn't the father.
Really?
No,
Yeah,
no. Was that not your man from Breaking Bad? Was he not in Wonder
no,
Years?
that
No,
wasn't. No, that's
Wonder
another
Years.
different show. The father from Wonder Years. I can't think of his name, but it's definitely not this guy, and
Okay.
it's definitely not the guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
it's very
Um,
Yeah.
strange.
no, I think he's
Representation.
yeah, kind of the sitcoms thing. Oh, and he was also he's a regular. He does recurring on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, I never really watched that.
Mm.
I should
Okay.
watch it.
Yeah. I I haven't. I've watched the first season of Curb. I know it's always been recommended to me, but
Mm.
yeah, but he's just a guy who's every man character that just sort of turns
Yeah.
up. I think
isn't
Star Trek or something as well.
and you wouldn't really
Maybe,
know his name. Like I didn't know his name, but his face, like you'd
yeah,
recognize his face, you know? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you need somebody to play that kind of sad sack, doofusy
Yeah. He's lovable
person.
and that kind of dopey, inverted commas, you know, like kind of those kind of characters. Yeah.
He's the
Which,
go-to on that.
yeah.
Done tons of stuff. You just couldn't remember his name. That pretty much describes him.
but it was obviously a coup, whoever made this film to get him in.
Amazing.
Maybe I don't know, did they know him, or are they connected, or did they just say, hey, I've got the script somebody put in front of him and say, hey, that's really good. I'd like
It's true.
so because if you can get a well-known actor to be in one of your films, uh, it definitely makes a big difference. I mean, for I suppose on two levels. One level that they rate it highly enough that they're prepared to be in it, and then if you're actually trying to put it out there, that obviously like it gives it an extra sort of kudos.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Do you know the actor Ruth Bradley?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So there was a guy who was in Dublin Filmmakers years ago. I won't say his name, but he was his sister, like, and so he was sort of making a film, and oh, I might get my sister Ruth. And I was just, really? Well, cool, but it never happened. Yeah,
All right. Well, I guess since we've gotten off the film a little bit, it's
Yeah.
probably rating time.
Okay.
no.
Ooh, you want to go first, call, or you want me to go?
I'll go first. I'll just check my notes just to see if there's anything else there. And actually, there was one thing I did think as well. I just thought it was something a bit smug about it. I don't know if that's the right word, but self-satisfied. That it was a very clever idea, and I think I think I think they were self-satisfied about the idea the whole time without ever trying to like do something different. I just maybe that's unfair, but no, that was a point I kind of made to myself. Um, Now, if I was a festival in a festival and I was a judge, and this film landed on my desk, I'd absolutely take it out. So this is really good. But I'm gonna judge it by a higher standard, particularly because Richard Kind is in it. So for that reason, I will give it 3 stars.
So, yeah, I really liked their performances. Again, like we've already said, the
Mm.
whole thing overall is a bit flat and can be cut down. I think I have this friend of mine here that's the filmmaker, and he tends to make his shorts way too long, and
Mm.
he loves them that way. And I've said it, and I know other people say, just like, dude, you can cut stuff out of this.
Mm.
So some filmmakers just love to put stuff in their films because they think it's all great when the reality is maybe if you tightened it up, it'd be a bit better. And I think that's this filmmaker to where they think everything they shot is brilliant and need to have it in the film. Although I'm not going to be quite, I don't know. I mean, the 3 stars is a decent enough rating. I'm going to go a bit higher though, and I'm going to do a half star. I'm going to give it 3.5.
Okay. Actually, was this shot in one take? Probably not. I don't think so. No, I don't
Hmm.
think so. No, it wasn't. But
That might have
it could
made
have
it
been.
better if they did it as a one take
It
film,
could have
actually.
been.
You could have been
Uh,
impressed.
yeah, I just think I love Richard Kind and brilliant acting in it. Very well filmed, but yeah, just a little bit flat. And I was hoping there'd be a bit more a punch or kind of a bigger twist in it. So I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Mm. Well, there you have it. Filmcast audience, we're kind of middle of the road on this one. It's worth seeing, but probably not one to add into your must see list. Check it out and let us know what you think. You can leave a comment in the notes below or reach us on social media at No Budget Show. And with that, we will say goodbye and see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Right.